we got it started at least, so that is good. Might have to start the actual thing a teensy bit late. Comparison. Hey. Desktop audio. Yo. Okay, hopefully when I play that, it'll be all good. Oh man, busy hosky. That's what I would say. Let me check that. Could you just post to our group chat?
Yep.
That we're live. I'll do it on here on the phone. Still got one. I could still maybe get out 2 posts really quickly if I'm fast.
7 o'clock.
I'm fast as fuck, boy. You don't even know how fast I am. Here we go. Talking. Yeah, okay, I can hear us on here. Copy that link. My Facebook Messenger as well has been so dodgy. Stopped showing me messages from Prentice and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, this must be because Mark's firing all these people.
He hates me.
From Meta.
And he personally hates me.
Personally, just like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Screw that dude. There we go. Send that now.
Focus.
And I'll... Sorry, peeps. I know we're slightly late.
We're live on YouTube now?
We certainly are.
Cool.
We certainly are. And I'll just go to our channel to get the link from there. There we go. Should be able to copy that. Of course I can't. Good. Alright, might get a feedback loop here. This will be fun. Get rid of that. Bam. Done, skis. You're done. Big Shaq, the one and only. Alright, copy that in there. I'm gonna hear, I like your dad was saying though, I'm not surprised. I've had the laptop actually shut down on me once and twice.
Oh, really?
A restart. So I'm actually
Beautiful.
thinking of getting probably something we should have done 3 years ago. And instead of taking my laptop physically out there, just taking a small device so that we can chuck the the audio into that. And yeah, I think that might be the safest thing. So we might need to find a $100 thing or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. There we go. Training your brain. I'm pretty happy with that thumbnail as well. Thought it was pretty good. Oh yeah, look, it's going great. Whoa, it's going wild again.
I'm gonna be upfront with you.
Yeah.
You ready for some reality?
Oh god. Yep.
Do you want to know?
Well, how bad is it?
It sounds harsh. Do you want harshness right now?
Is it worth harshness on the? Is this a harshness that should be displayed for the world, or is it a more a personal thing?
It's about our thumbnails.
About our thumbnails.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll leave it for anyone as well who's live right now to also make a comment on the latest thumbnails. I guess I'll say it in the way I've had, let's say, no positive reviews on our thumbnails as of late.
Oh, as if we get any reviews on them ever.
So, mate,
look, at least you can read that, right? Train your brain. Look at that. It's got a little brain picture. I think that's pretty good.
Perhaps. Yep, perhaps. Okay. Maybe I'll say it. I've heard some unflattering things about thumbnails as of late. As of late. They were better before. As in, yeah, there's a certain dislike to the current thumbnails. Is the N of 2 that I've heard.
Name names. Come on. Name names.
I won't name names on live, but
weak source.
It has been noted.
Weak source.
Also, for anyone who's like a Garmin fan as well, as you're listening to this, there's a new Garmin watch that I swear it just came out today called the Instinct Crossover Solar, $1,000 Australian, and it's got apparently infinite battery life if you run it on whatever. In any case, I was starting to read through just some of the settings and the things. So we're talking about fitness, right? And I'm going through and being like, this is pretty standard retro drive technology, smart notifications, sync with the Garmin app. I'm like, this is everything my watch has got. Why would I want this? And I keep going, and man, it's just got so many things. I'm like, okay, built-in sports and hip workouts and VO2 max, daily work suggestions. Again, I'm like, this is still all pretty easy. Why would I want to get a new watch? Then it's got like running power and flow. It's kind of cool. You can see the cadence. Dynamics for like biking metrics. Okay, that's pretty cool. Multiple global positioning support. Okay, that's kind of awesome. ABC support for altimeter, elevation, and barometer as you're running. Okay, that's awesome. Running, if you're track backing, reference point, wrist-based heart rate, stress tracking, sleep score and advanced sleep monitoring, body battery. And I go, this is all on the phone, so that's kind of good. Fitness age, intensity minutes. I'm like, damn, Garmin, you're selling me well. You're selling me well.
Man, none of those stats sound appealing to me. No. Good for you. I'm glad you can find some new trinket to get.
I might
the
have
new
to.
trinket. The new trinket.
All right,
There's
ready to rock
always
and roll?
trinket with you. Yeah, here we go. Mere Mortals. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Mere Mortals Musing podcast. This is where we, the Mere Mortals, Kyron,
Juan,
and one on the other side, go deeper into a topic. So we pick a theme and we dive deeper into it. Deep-hearted conversations. Deep-hearted?
Deep-hearted, light-hearted.
Light-hearted.
Deep-hearted.
Good. I like that.
Deep-hearted conversations with a light-hearted touch.
Yeah, deep-hearted conversations with light-hearted touch. That's nice. Today we're going to be talking about the mental side of training. So this is a topic that I came up with. I can't remember, to be honest, exactly what triggered this for me, but I was like, we've talked a lot about mental, physical, actual things, handstands. You're always talking about. I mean, you just before this started, you were listening, talking about the Garmin and all the crazy stuff that it can measure and whatnot. So I thought it'd be okay. Let's get into maybe the mental side of things. So maybe not so much motivation and discipline, although I'm sure that'll come up. But we've talked about those.
It'll be adjacent to some of these things. Yeah.
But yeah, some particular maybe nuances of your own training, which is just worthy of mentioning and whatnot. So. No particular definition needed for today, so I'm just going to tell you something.
Okay, tell me something
that I've noticed. So I've found that the hardest skills to achieve have been those I wanted, but have had progressions that I didn't find interesting. So this has happened twice for me. Once for the press to stand, which is basically your handstanding. Your feet are together on the ground and they come up in a kind of straddle into a handstand, and you're basically just pushing, so you want your legs to be locked and you come up like that. And then the handstand push-up, relatively explanatory. You come down, your head touches the ground in front of you, and then you come back up into a handstand. Those two have been absolute bitches to get. So I got the press to stand. That would have been early 2019, probably February-ish. If I had to guess, and the handstand push-up probably 2021. Yep. And
it is worth noting, because I always talk shit about Karen, about handstand push-ups for folks, mere mortals out there, mere mortalites, that they're
very different from CrossFit.
The handstand push-ups that Karen's talking about is very different to, like, I'm not even CrossFit, like any other handstand push-up you're kind of talking about, where you see people kind of hit their head or bounce up, and sometimes I'll be like, you'll see in workouts, like I'll probably do 30 handstand push-ups in that sort of manner. This is a very, very controlled. Hands are doing 90 degrees in front of you as well.
Imagine you're holding a barbell in front of you at head height, and then pushing that barbell up until it's directly above your head. That's the movement that it is. So it's not arms beside you, kind of like a CrossFit one is.
Yep.
It's a difficult move, lots of shoulder work, and the problem with it though is to get it. You need to do negatives of that isn't too bad. Negatives of the press to stand is okay, but it's kind of the not the eccentric, the concentric. So the kind of like pushing up portions where you're trying to use real power from that. they're not fun, man. They're not fun, and you spend a lot of time, falling over, getting into a headstand, trying to push up from there. They're really ugly looking as well. So there's that. What else? Pike push-ups, awful. Just not fun at all. And hip flexor work, which is really important for the press to stand.
Yep.
And so a mental thing that I've noticed is if it's something like this, where it's a skill I wanted the press to stand, I wanted the handstand push up, but I didn't enjoy the actual progressions. I think a mental thing that I'm going to start doing is I will try and just work on adjacent stuff so that it's not actually getting towards that as a goal. So I'm thinking now, so if I come across something in the future, which I probably won't enjoy, so I'm thinking it'll be something related to flagging, which I've already noticed I don't enjoy. I will probably not set that as a goal and work on supplementary things without having to do those progressions, so that I can just get to such a high level doing other stuff that eventually I'll be able to get that without kind of putting in the work for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I wonder, is there any mental exercise, any exercises that you mentally hate? They're just, for whatever reason, the exercise is not fun. So it's either not fun or you think it looks shit or whatever, that you either force yourself to do or that you try and avoid and get to where you want without doing those.
Yeah, that's good. I would say it was, well, not a current, but it was definitely for running. Easy example for us was when we were doing the running challenge here, and you can go back on the podcast and check that out back in 2021, I think it was, when we were doing those running challenges. In any case, those there, in whatever way or form that I was doing it mentally, there wasn't a particular wanting of doing it. And even on the days where I can still remember, going after work from here, going off to do a 10K run. And even that 10K run, there was mentally beforehand, there was the anticipatory, hey, I really don't want to do this. During it kind of sucked a little bit less. And I usually listen to a podcast and that was kind of fine.
Yeah. But
even at the tail end when I would finish, there was still, I don't want to do this again. The usual, hey, you should get like a runner's high and you should be really excited.
Yeah, the runner's high. I've never had that shit.
Well, see, this is interesting because then when I was doing it, now, what was I targeting? I was targeting probably time-based domains. So, what was I after at the time? I was after time-based domains for distances.
So, i.e. doing 10 kilometers in
X amount of time. Yeah, like marathon, something like half marathon. So there was that guidance, and at least for me, mentally, I just didn't want to do that. I was like, okay, I don't want to. There wasn't a fiber in my being that I was like, oh, I really want to do this. It was part of a challenge. And so, you might go, oh, here's a goal that, you've set a goal. There should be something that mentally makes it easy. But for me, it was difficult / like, I just didn't want to do it at all. To the point that once we finished that sort of year, well, even before then, I just sort of said to myself, I'm not continuing to run. I'm going to prioritize other things.
Yep.
And I'm not going to bring this in again. So mentally, I was like, nah. However, so I think shifting it along to now, in comparison, there isn't a time domain that I'm after. There is a set distance overall for the month, and that's, partnering up or going towards a Movember effort of trying to do 60 kilometers across the month. Relatively quite easy, 2 kilometers a day. That's not extremely hard to do. But I think the removal of a particular piece, which is a time domain conversation, has actually proved to be of benefit mentally, because all of a sudden perhaps it was the initial setting of the habit, and maybe it was at those more small gradual runs, although I was doing small gradual runs at the beginning of this other planning that I was doing. But without the time sensitivity of it, so mentally for me, removing something out of it has now shifted when I run to be a whole lot better. Even to the point that, in fact, today, like literally today, just before here, I knew I wanted to do some sort of run. Not sure what the length of it was. I just wanted to, really my mentality was like, I've got about 25 minutes to spare. I'll run and just see whatever it gets to. And again, I've talked about it before in the podcast, but I probably got in 400 meters and I was sore. I was tired. Slight mentality. So again, mentality wise, in my mind, it was like, I don't really want to do this. That doesn't feel like I want to do this. But something else took over at that point, which before mentally I would have thought, oh, I need to do 3Ks in sub 15 minutes because that's what I've got in the program. And that kind of put me off. I was like, if I'm already starting here at 400 meters, it doesn't feel like it. I don't want to do this in an associated about way. But because there wasn't that, I actually felt myself like, oh, well, doesn't matter. Just keep going. Just run for 20 minutes or whatever I've got in terms of time. And then I just felt myself, and as you were saying, for the run is high. In fact, for the last couple of days now, I've been able to feel that. I've been feeling it. Where probably beyond for me, it's the 1.2 kilometers. I'll get to about a K or 1.2 Ks, just running. And all of a sudden, it'll just feel like really easy. Now, that's probably been more so the breathing pattern that I've been working on as well.
Because you're not working hard enough, so you're not taking in much air.
But weirdly enough, and then I look back at 2020 or 2021, we're doing the running, and the pace that I'm doing in comparison to what I was doing then, I'm not mentally thinking like, oh, I've got to go this pace, I've got to go do this.
Yeah.
But then looking at the data, I'm like, I'm running way faster than I was running then without even a care in the world about it. So, in a roundabout way, as you're saying, you target an adjacent thing. So here, you don't want to do a persistent, so you'll do heaps of ab work or whatever else so that you're so good at it. So when you come in, you've got the strength to do that.
If I'd done a lot more planche work, I would have got it 100%.
Yeah. So for me, this is more along the lines of I've just removed the aspect of caring about that I'm running at this pace or at this much time to do on that particular day to I've just got this time to run and I allow myself to build a habit of running and the enjoyment of that, which will then just pay off in terms of if I wanted to be doing a distance or a certain time, I feel quite positive that it'll get there. And even just mentally, so one of the things I checked today, so I did a 3.2 Ks in 17 minutes, think of us, right? But I compared to, both a month ago when I was doing some of this running and also some of the data from when we were running ages ago, right? And I went, when I was aiming at it with minutes and I've got to run this kilometers at this minutes, the effort that I was exceeding, and this I'm talking about from a heart rate perspective, was sky high. I was zone 4 or zone 5 for people who know that, or basically just a high heart rate. So I was basically, maybe a month ago, it was between a zone 2, 3, and 4, a bit of a mixture, I would guess. Which again, it's not a super hard one, but it's pretty tough. But today's one, going in there mentally, again, I'm just not even really thinking about it. I just kind of got into the groove of the moving. Was predominantly zone 2, I think 70% of the time, and a little bit of zone 3, which meant when I was doing that run, it was basically I could have had a conversation with someone next to me, and I was genuinely just sort of looking around as I was running on the treadmill, felt pretty easy, and I was able to finish off in a full-on sprint with that particular run and be cool, off we go. And I'd done 195 sit-ups literally just before that run too, just in a workout, because there's a bit of a mental thing. So for me, I was okay, this is cool. So for that, maybe summary of that, I'd say for something that I don't enjoy, maybe removing some aspects has helped me.
Okay, so with that being said, do you think you'll be able to achieve the goals that you used to have, i.e. will you be able to get to a level that you wanted once, and then you realize, actually setting the goal here is counterproductive, but it's still in your head, you kind of, I want to get that 10K in sub 50 minutes. That was one that I had, for example. Yep. I'm not sure if I don't think you ever had that as a goal, but
no, I think we did. We had the same ones for 5, 10, half marathon, and marathon.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So then, do you think you'll hit those if they're not front of mind predominant? You're working on them. You're analyzing time. Whatever it was that you called, watching your times.
Yeah. I think answering the question directly, yes. Answering the question indirectly, I'd say the mentality of it, I just don't care. That's probably more the mentality of I don't actually care. But directly, I'd say, okay, yes, if you have to gun to it, yeah, I think so. So for me, I've gone, wow, here's an eye-opener where a particular modality of running, where I've called out on this podcast, you can go check it out. I did not enjoy running. It was not a thing. And today when I finished the run, I kind of went, actually, I enjoy it. That was really enjoyable. And, for me, I personally had an injury a week ago with my chest, basically almost tearing my chest apart, folks, with my tendon. So I've been training like super light, like very, very light, just to try to get back to it. And today, the movements were like heavy overhead press, cleans and jerks and deadlifting. Now I was like, it's probably, I'll say 70%. So I wanted to slowly get back. Now, my slowly getting back, I was doing 80 kilo overhead press. So like I was slowly getting back at it. But after, I was like, it was just quite light workouts. And I went, okay, genuinely the most enjoyable part of my workouts lately have been the run. And that amazes me to no end, because I never thought I would be saying that. But I don't think it'll ever overtake my normal lifting. I'll probably put that out, I don't think. However, Juan will have to check this in 2 years' time and go back at it.
Will Juan ever beat my running scores? I'm curious. I know you say you don't care, but
I don't know.
Will he ever get faster than
I don't think I will ever go.
I
don't think I will ever get as fast as what I used to be. I will probably, because I checked on my stats, and my best 5K was a 19-minute 37.
That's quick.
And I do not think I will ever get that. I've also done a sub 6-minute mile. And I don't think I'll also beat that either. So it's 1.6 Ks to 1.62 in sub 6. I don't think I'll ever get that fast again. I don't know. Maybe. I'll see. I will say, like, my knees are sore from all this running. So there's like a level that I also don't want to pound it out. And I'll always, for whatever reason, I'll probably always balance it with, I still want to be lifting. And I will probably, beyond the month of November, post 60 kilometers, mentally, will it start shifting in the sense that, I don't have a goal really to target now. Might take a backseat. Maybe that's going to happen as well. So you never know.
So answer is, he won't be as fast as Kyra.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it out there. I don't think I will ever be able to beat your half marathon time.
Yeah, that was quick.
I think I could beat your marathon time though. I think I could.
Anyone can beat that. You walk.
You can walk that faster. Yeah.
All right, what you got for me, man? What's a note that you've got written down?
Let me just bring them up, because I'd hidden them away.
Yeah, I closed mine.
But one of the ones I was going to say about the mental side of physical training was just about communication. And I'll probably start it off with you. I was going to ask you a question about from a mental perspective, and obviously this translates to actions. What is your training, maybe at its its peak, if you want it to be like peak training for you at least, what does that look like in a communication perspective, and how you let it affect it mentally? So let's say you want to do whatever workout and you want to be just mentally sharp as you're doing it. You want to be maybe the full focus in it. Do you try to then, from a communication perspective, do you try to like just not talk to anybody? Don't use your phone. So is it like complete shut off from the world? Is that what optimal mental, capacity in training is? Or for you, is it, it's me being kind of friendly with people, and then allowing myself to get back in? What's your, like, if you had to go like, this would be my ideal way, this is how I do it?
Yeah. If it's a one-off day, and so much like right at the end of this last period, so that would have been, the last couple of days of September, I'd done a whole bunch of prep work, and I was now going, okay, I'm going to try and tick off some of these last, goals, and so this would be 3 press to stands in a row, press to stands in a pike position in a row. I wanted to get some stuff related to flagging and handstand push-ups and things like that. On those days when it was a single one-off day, it would be fine, because I was just so internally motivated. I could be chatting with people, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm going to give it my all, like 100%. I've taken this kind of from Deadpool, actually, watching the movie, where he's like 100% concentration. Do you remember that? Or it's 100% effort. He says 100% effort. Yeah. I use that. I go like, all right, fucking like 100% effort now, go. Yeah. And I don't normally train like that. That usually takes it out of me, and I find that mentally exhausting as well as physically exhausting. And it's I don't find that great for a long period. But a one-off day where I want to really get something, that's good. So in terms of communication, doesn't matter, because it's just in that moment where I go like switch on, bam.
Gotcha. Yep.
What I've been finding recently is because I kind of structure my workouts in terms of I sort of see it in like 3 sections. There's 1 hour. The first hour is real concentrated work on a hard technical movement which can also be hard physically. Second hour is adjacent stuff related to that, and is usually more time-based things. So it'll be, this is where I've actually got the metronome out and I'm trying to hold certain positions. And then the third hour is completely supplementary work. So this can be leg stuff, it can be calisthenic stuff, it can be core stuff, or obliques as it is in the moment. For this, so this is kind of general training. I would say optimal would be 0 communication with anyone and 0 distractions on my phone and whatnot. So what I've been doing is just been completely turning off the phone, not looking at it. I do the exercise, I come back, I sit down, I go back and do the exercise, and I try and mentally not really think of anything. That's for the first hour. Once that's done, then I allow myself to kind of play around a bit, and I'll chat with people and whatnot. And then by the third hour, it's supplementary work. I'm already kind of exhausted, and it's not half-assed, but it's 3/4-assed. It's not. It's
extended.
It's extended. It's not peak. Amazing pissing dog form, which is a exercise where you lift up your leg in a weird position. Gotcha. It sucks. When it's in that scenario, I'm like, anything I can do to distract myself from this boring ass supplementary work is totally fine. So if people want to chat with me whilst I'm exercising, I'll chat back.
Fantastic. Yeah.
That's fair. So that's how I segment it. Really trying to focus at the start, middle bit. Still want some focus and whatnot. Still want to keep myself a bit more accountable, but by getting towards the end, it's like, whatever. Like I'll be on just
doing whatever,
lurking on the Hosky Discord and finding out all the important Hosky news.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's interesting.
How about you?
That's interesting. I'll take it from some of the modalities I do least at the moment. Swimming, I think my focus there would be, there's nothing, no phone, no talking to anybody. For my ideal, I wish it would be like absolutely no human around me. I'm either swimming like on a lake or in a pool, and that's it. Just doing my stuff, and a watch, I guess, just for tracking things. Bike riding, I don't mind having there someone to talk to, because I'm usually watching something, I'm usually listening to something, and so if like someone talking to me, I don't find that too distracting. In fact, it's just like passing the time. I'm not doing like heavy, fast,
what
powerful.
If you were riding a bike on paths, so not a stationary bike?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind as well. Yeah, like if you were like riding with someone next to you, like a bit of a chatter, that's more of that, and that probably is more too.
One's going to be one of those bloody black people one day.
I don't know. I don't want to be I don't want to be one of those
loud ass, angry bike person.
Well, I enjoy bike riding stationary in a concept too. I don't feel like I enjoy the
actual scenery passing by you.
Well, just probably like the actual mechanical bike itself. Again, never say never, but just don't enjoy it. Running, definitely not. You'll see this starting to veer towards more like, from a communication perspective, from mentally, I just want to like listen to either music or a podcast and not really talk to anybody. Not even depending on like whatever zone I'm doing. A friend of mine has asked me, to come for a run on weekends, because they're also doing quite a bit of running as well.
Brody.
And honestly, for myself, I'm like, you know what? I just kind of don't want to do it, just purely because I don't want to talk to anybody as I'm running this. Like, I just want to do it on my own.
It's not you, Brody. I mean, I hate you as well, but I hate everyone.
But broadly, I hate everyone. But when it comes to lifting, I think communication perspective, and not like I'm always doing this, but again, I'm not turning my phone off because I use an app there to track my training, but I'll usually set it on like do not disturb and only allow like critical people to be able to contact me during that time. It's either music in or sometimes a podcast in, again, just as a listening while I'm doing it. But yeah, there's just, I would prefer to not communicate with a single soul during any of that. Even if, apologies for any immortalites to see me out there when I'm training. I don't want to talk to you at all. I don't want to like talk to any human as I'm training. In fact, I cherish the like doing some lifting or doing whatever movement I'm doing and just like making you look like shit, just making everyone just look like shit, just almost entices me to be like, yes, this is good. Case in point, today there was someone next to me and I could kind of see them that they wanted to talk to me. Now, I don't want to be rude, like if they're genuinely asking for conversation, shut up, go away. I will obviously converse with people that are not going to be extremely rude.
It's not David Goggins.
But to me, seeing
taking souls,
but to me, seeing them like, seeing someone like a deadlift and probably cleaning their deadlift basically for a couple of sets and overhead pressing and doing stuff like that. And you can kind of see them like talking, they all want to chat. And I'm like, man, headphones are in, there's just no care factor to like see anybody. I'm just like moving along with things. Plus, I was kind of like a time domain. I do like I know you hate to do this, but I love to just put it in like, hey, I've got 47 minutes to get this done. You're going to get this done. Had played bad on me, obviously, because I injured myself doing that exact thing. But I do like that. Like, yeah, there's forcibly got to get it done, which also means you ain't doing any spare communication.
I was just going to say, I actually don't mind too much the people talking with me up to the point where I get cold. So if my body gets cold, that's a big no-no, and that's where I will be
that's a good point.
Rude, and I'm like, oh, look, keep talking. I'll do my exercise, and you can keep talking. That's fine. Or I just don't want to get cold, so I'm going to go do this, and I'll be back and
I think I get that. Mine would be like if I'm not, if I feel like I'm stopping from sweating profusely, I'm getting angry. I'm like, nah, we're gonna
never
get back
even
into
reached
this.
that level. So.
But now it's been good. Like genuinely with my training, I think longest rest time, even between sets, is like 20. No, that's probably a bit short. A minute is probably the shortest, to be honest, between like working movements and stuff like that. So been enjoying that. Nice. All right, I think we probably put a pause there. Any questions there you want to jump into?
No. So in the chat, I know we've got Westside Baby. I know we've got my friend Rodrigo, who was going to beer and yoga just beforehand. A little fun fact there. Mixing beer and yoga, that's also a good way to exercise.
Good way.
Joey Broadshoulders said he got a comment deleted because he said the forgot word, which no, YouTube does not like that, my friend. So, and there's a couple other people I know also lurking, but not participating in the chat. So
that's fine.
Everyone, thank you for joining us live. And
absolutely.
You're getting the good stuff 2 days beforehand. So yeah, if you join us live, you'll get to see us as it happens in the moment, and then also you're getting it pre-hand, I guess, in a way, because I actually released this video and audio on Friday this time.
Correct.
So there's an incentive to join us here in the chat.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Boostagram Lounge.
Boostagram Lounge, and we've moved away from the sad puppy, which is always lovely.
Excellent.
It's always good to see some Boostagrams come through, and we've got a few here that I want to talk through. First one from K Finn. We've got Buzz Boost back at ya. OP3 tags have been added to both of your podcasts. Keep podcasting.
Thanks.
That's 8,222 sats sent using Fountain.
Yep. So Kevin is one of the. I'm not actually sure if he's a co-founder of Buzzsprout, which is the platform that we use for hosting this audio and then also the Mere Mortals book reviews. In any case, he's one of the hosts of the Buzzcast, which is a audio podcast, kind of talking about podcasting news / what's going on with Buzzsprout. Cool. And I wanted to get these tags. It's kind of podcasting 2.0 related. I don't even understand it that well, but
OP3 tags.
I sent them. I was sending emails to their support team, and they didn't really know what was happening. So I skipped them almost completely and just went straight to the source and sent them a Buzz Boost, which is this 8222 buzz. So yeah, that's very much appreciated for sending that back. You didn't have to do that, Kevin. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Awesome. All right, we'll move along. We got two from Peter. Coincide here. So first one, agree with Karen about Straw's how generational fear of societal collapse. It's all a lot of mystical, unconvincing hooey. Read The Collapse of Complex Societies by Joseph A. Tainter for a rigorous, sobering, authoritative assessment of the topic.
That sounds like a good book.
And that's 7,777 sats.
Book list as we speak. Can you read that book name again to me?
That is The Collapse of Complex Societies by Joseph A. Tainter.
Excellent. Thank you.
There
Brilliant. Moving on.
And second one
thank you,
from Peter. Have you really lived unless you've dropped someone's birthday cake? 7,777 sats.
Fuck your birthday cake, Joey.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't lived until you do that, folks, because then you could really test your friendship right there. So.
This is true.
Peter, thank you very much for sending that through.
Well, it obviously worked because Joey's still supporting the show.
Well, exactly. And the final one, a live boost from the proud mum of Liam F. I'm so proud my beautiful 29-year-old son stood up to pee today for the first time. Well done, Liam. That's 100 sats using Fountain.
Good
on Liam. Thank you very much. And those are the boosts in the Boostagram Lounge. So I
Thank you
appreciate
very
the
much.
support.
Proud mum of Liam F, aka Mr. Joey.
Broad shoulders.
Cake got wrecked, mate. I yeeted your cake.
Gone.
Never again will anyone taste that cakey goodness.
Now, folks, remember
the magpies.
While Mr. SBF destroys the cryptocurrency world, means you can get your Satoshis a little bit cheaper. So if you want to go around and get yourself the Bitcoin, and want to support the podcast through Boostagrams, just like these ones that we're reading out, feel free to probably get in amongst it. There's 100%. Never a better time than than the now to do it, because I'm sure you'll regret it in the future, and you will regret not supporting us by Boostagrams. So 100%. Make sure you're doing it.
You will regret it.
You will regret it.
We will come after you
make you regret it.
Force the regret into your body.
Correct. Anyways, that was the Boostagram Lounge.
Very good. Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much. Well, you touched upon something just before, which was your injury. So tune in for the episode. There's where like doing it live is complex. Tune in for the episode that is now will be coming out on Sunday. The meanderings, and Juan will talk about how he almost was going viral. Would have gone viral if someone had been filming
recording
it,
because
it would have been a nasty looking event, that's for sure. But injuries. So recovering from an injury. This is something I want to ask you because you've had much bigger injuries than I've ever had, and any helpful advice to reach beyond what messed you up good. So I'm imagining most of the injuries that you've gotten, they were closer to the kind of PB territory, or you're doing harder stuff. I'm guessing. Can't speak personally. With my approach, I think I'm kind of doing good things and bad things. So when I exercise, I'm always ultra careful. I rarely go for 1 rep maxes. This was especially for the gym. Yep. Well, I never went for 1 rep maxes in the gym. And even now, I'm very, very careful when it comes to niggling injuries. I've got this little niggling injury in my elbow. I've completely stopped doing any bent arm exercises. So gone are the handstand push-ups, gone are the muscle-ups, gone are the pull-ups, gone are the dips, gone are the push-ups.
Dang.
Like straight up, everything goes until this injury heals. Now, thankfully, I can still do stuff that I want to do. So it's not super, super bad. But that's how I approach things. I go mentally, I don't want to deal with the fucking bullshit of a 1 6 months gap of not being able to do exactly what I want to do.
Yep.
I've had 1 month little things where 1 month, maybe 2 months where I can't. And I find that mentally really refreshing. And it's also, maybe I'm not pushing myself to the hardest, but I feel like mentally dealing with a 6 month or a year out would just suck. I would hate that so much. So yeah, I'll let you answer that first question, and then we'll there's a couple of other things I wanted to ask you about. So yeah, even though I asked you it and then continue to talk, good podcasting technique there, Karen. Any helpful advice to reach beyond what messed you up good?
To go beyond what messed you up good. Yeah, I think it's the assessment mentally, the assessment of what the end outcome is. Which I think, so in this latest injury of mine, was more attached to...
So 145 kg on bench.
Yep.
Was
so
what?
That was like, and again, it wasn't like a percentage lift that I was particularly even aiming for. I just begun like a new training cycle, so I wasn't too sure what can I actually do for this particular 6 sets of 2 reps type of deal. This is what I went for, and nope, just for saying nope.
Well, you found out.
a lot of non-preparatory work that was going into all sort of stuff.
Listen to the actual episode and you'll see why.
Yeah, so obviously it details, but I think
sub-ideal.
I think mentally it was more, or at least my learning still to continue, is what is the end outcome that I'm trying to achieve, and it's the risk. There's always going to be a risk, right? Always going to be a risk-based conversation with whatever you're doing. Is the risk worth the potential outcome that I'm going for? So
in your head, this 145 is this going to build up into something in your head where it's kind of like a scary thing? Is there going to be more trepidation than perhaps there was?
Absolutely
not.
No.
Is your risk management going to change based on as in like, will it change in a bad way, as in now it's too risky to even get close to that sort of deal?
Gotcha. Okay. So I'd probably say no, but the reason is no is not so much the because of that reason. Because I say if 145 for me would be 80% of probably my true 1 rep max. So once it heals up and maybe I've done a little bit of chest work, I could probably walk into a gym pretty fresh and work up to a 145 quite easily. Like there's no mental trepidation like there was maybe 7 years ago when I used to bench. But what it does make me reminisce is go, okay, I got to 168 kg bench. Awesome. Do I have now trepidation of like, oh, do I want to push it to 180? Potentially, in the sense that, is that a goal I really want to achieve? Is that something I want to achieve? And I go, okay, I saw that a potential injury could have happened at a lower weight because I was being silly. And I go, okay, is the risk of potentially going up higher in the bench, especially if I have a propensity to be silly, really a warranted thing? Plus when I lift,
I'm not getting introspection right there.
Plus when I'm lifting, I don't get a spot. Like I do not get a spot at all on many things. I think I've only been spotted in the last few years once on a bench press. On that really heavy bench press where I did 168, I got spotted. So beside that, not at all.
Yeah, little fun detour here was when we were training together. So this is probably mid-ish 2019 is when I would say. We were going to the Good Life gym in Springwood. I remember one time you were doing some squatting and you asked me and Mitchell to spot you.
Oh yeah.
As you did your either like reps 2 reps or 3 reps or maybe it was 1 rep, just plates and plates on the bar. Bar was bending, and you were going to rack it. I wanted to do that like little help you sort of thing, and just the slightest amount of me pushing it, fucking threw one off, and he like had to take this step, and like I was so
we're about to like blow the gym up.
I would have felt so bad if you messed yourself up then.
Drop because of that.
Just because I was just trying to do this little helping bit at the end.
But look, I think ultimately,
so I can understand why you don't like spotting.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, ultimately, I think what the learning more and more that I probably bring up is if the assessing mentally, just assessing if the goal is worthy of the risk I'm putting myself into. And so now moving forward, so like when I look at the bench, I've kind of assessed and gone, you know what? I don't. So I in my mental capacity, I go, I can probably handle, and I'm not talking muscles here. I'm talking probably tendons. I go, 160, 170. That's probably where I want to leave it. I don't want to try and build up my tendon strength, if you will, which requires quite dedicated time for a prolonged period of time to get it to that level, to go beyond, right? So could I? Maybe. Is it a goal that I really want to? I go, the amount of effort that's going to be needed for that? No. And so my goal is probably going to start to change into probably how you were training mentally. So I'd go, actually, I'm going to just aiming for 3 rep maxes, 5 rep maxes, or moving towards like just higher volume type of work. And that's okay. And that being like the okayness. Now it still allows me to train at a quite high threshold, high pain, whatever you want to call it, but I still get that enjoyment out of it, and it probably reduces the risk factor in that regard. So yeah, I just say just weighing up the goal to the risk that comes with it.
Is there any other thoughts you have on injuries and mentally getting over an injury or mentally preparing for one as well? Because that might be a good topic. I don't do any real mental preparation for I'm going to get injured and this is how I'll deal with it sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I found that's been really good was that back, like when I first was getting injuries, and this is obviously many years ago in training, I would not be mentally prepared as much as you can mentally prepare for an injury. Like you just be like, oh, this sucks. I want to get back to either playing touch or lifting again or doing whatever. And then it takes you a bit of a week of just kind of like being off and then realizing, okay, I can maybe do legs if you've injured upper body, or doing upper body if you've injured leg, something to that regard. So, I would always get up there eventually and then slowly kind of work myself back. One of the probably best ones I've sort of experienced was tearing my hamstring on like a grade 2 tear. Not even realizing I'd like dragged myself off a field. This is playing sports. And I really wanted to get back to sort of training. And that one was a long, long time to like heal back. I reckon that would be in 2 years of healing. In terms of like, so maybe 2 months of literally not being able to do any leg movement. Like it was just like dead straight or couldn't
still
move.
So much, yeah.
To like, recovery type of training for a few more months, to there was like still hamstring pain for 2 years. And then like to the point now where, okay, it's predominantly gone. Cool. That's fantastic. I think what's helped mentally now for an injury to come is the amount of different things I guess I'm training. And this probably not for everyone. So if you're super focused on, you're a handstander or you're a runner or you're a swimmer, whatever, and that's really the specific modality, well, it's going to suck. It's really going to suck if you can't do the specific thing because you really like that. If you broke your wrist, man, that's going to suck. That's going to suck balls.
Yeah.
But I guess what I found for me is the amount of different modalities I'm doing is really good because, say, for instance, that injury of the chest, I took a day off from training in terms of like the normal training I do. But then in my mind, I was like, I can still just go for runs. I can still just go do legs. I can still go and do all these things. I can still go bike riding. I can still go for a walk. I can still go for a hike. Fantastic. And I've thrown in a little bit of recovery training for chest in so far, but it hasn't bothered me like a single bit. I'm still just continuing to pursue other things. So at least me mentally, it's just having differing modalities or training styles that even if an injury does come, so mentally preparing, if it comes, like if I injured my shoulder or my knee, I have enough things that I've got going on that I can kind of pivot and just like, okay, cool, I'll just focus on that for a little while, and that's fine.
Yeah. I found a couple of things for me have been, one, creating a set of workouts in the back of my book, which I almost never use, but are there in case I need to. And so it's really simple stuff. It's like legs and abs, so it's unlikely to be something affected by how I'm most likely to get injured training, which will be shoulders or elbows or wrists, which for me. And I think having that little thing at the back is useful because I hate it when I have something like this elbow thing and I have to switch stuff up midway through. And, I do my kind of 4-week blocks. And if I'm midway through and I'm realizing, I probably shouldn't be doing handstand push-ups anymore. This is really getting aggravated by this movement. Having that little thing at the back, so it's okay if I can't do this at all, if I can't switch it, available. This is available, and it gives me kind of a little bit of motivation still to do something and not just completely drop everything, which is what I have done in the past when I'd get a shoulder injury or an upper back injury from doing, as always, it's like just stuff where you're expect it to happen. One-arm push-ups. One-arm push-ups it's not a smart thing to do. Yeah. Anything one-arm is not really a smart thing to do.
It's a particular time and place to do things like that.
Yeah.
Other things though, mentality-wise, we talked, there's probably not a popular opinion, and for most, again, I've shared it in on the podcast a couple of times, but you just gotta fucking train through it sometimes. Like when it's an injury that it's not really an injury. I think that is a popular. maybe it's an unpopular opinion when it's said, but it's a popular thing as to what you do. So I'll give you an example. Again, I injured my chest. That was kind of like an annoying thing, and I've actually done the right thing there and really backed off. In fact, the other day my partner was like, I had chest on Tuesday, and saying like, I did really recover. They didn't believe me. I was like, no, what did you actually do? And I genuinely was using a 4 kilo dumbbell, folks, 4 kilo dumbbell to just do like slow rotator cuff workouts and then very slow controlled little chest presses. 20 kilos on the other arm, but 4 kilos on this one. Just making sure on my left-hand side, for those who can't see, just lowering it, getting the stretch, feeling the muscle, essentially getting some blood in there. So I was like, well done, tick one. You're really recovering well. This is awesome. But on Monday, I was at the gym and I was doing just some scap retracts, so scapular retracts on rings. I might have done a few too many. I did 100 alongside with 200 sit-ups and in like, 7 minutes or something like that. And, afterwards, like later in there, I was like, I think I've pulled something on my... And the reason I think I've done this is because in trying to protect my chest,
of course,
I've used also a box to support my weight. I'm not using my full weight. It's just like supporting my weight. And I must have just put myself in a position where I've just pulled like something in my back, right? And I'm like, that feels sore, feels a bit bad. Even right now, it feels that way too. It's like, it's a bit niggly. But it's not, at least for me, I can kind of tell, okay, if it's a small injury, if it's a small sort of feeling, it's more soreness, Same with my legs when running. It's, they feel sore. My knees are sore, soreness. There's a difference between soreness and injury. So for me, like mentally, it's like, you know what? This kind of sucks to begin with. You just got to get warm up. Suck it up, princesses. That's just what it is. So, if it was, that easy and you get no pain, yeah, you're probably doing a shit job, to be honest. You're probably not training hard enough. That's what I'm saying to you. If you're not feeling it, you're saying it, right? You got like pain in your elbows.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I put my hand
I'd probably say mentally, I'd also say be prepared that you're going to get sore and you're going to get semi-injuries. And if you're not, I'm calling you out. You're not training hard enough. That's the reality of it.
Yeah. Well, I think I've said this not that long ago, but the real good one-arm handstand guys I kind of follow and listen to, Mikhail Christensen, Emmett Lewis, that they say you're going to get injured. If you continue doing one arms and you get to a high enough level, you're going to get injured. So, you kind of have to already start to mentally prepare for that a bit.
Yeah, and again, there's a risk valuation, right? If you go, okay, in risk basis, let's say that the risk percentage of getting injured here of doing a one-arm handstand is 100%. It's going to happen. Okay, cool. But the achievement of doing the one-arm handstand, you put it, okay, if I have to put it against, on the scale here of value, I value that more. Like, I really want to do that. Awesome. Go for your life. You're probably going to get injured. Try to prevent it as much as possible. Fantastic. It'll happen. However, if you genuinely go, like I just gave you an example. I just said about, you're probably not training hard enough if you're not prepared to get injured. That might be as well because you might put the scale and you go, actually, I don't value this level of performance. I don't value, in fact, you value...
I value playing with my kids more.
Or like just being, completely pain-free. And so that means you're probably going to have a slower, some sort of lower level of physical exertion to achieve that. And, that's also okay. But again, it's just it's a risk balance behind it.
Yeah, for sure. Last one I wanted... Oh, yep. Did you have a topic?
We'll say yours, see if it's similar to the one I noted.
Mine was just going to kind of be rehashing the motivation versus discipline.
Nah, fuck that. Yep. That's not even mental stuff. So
cool.
Throw that out. No, the one I wanted to talk about was, because I know you do this, so it was a question. Just mentally, from a physical training perspective, how important is pre-planning the workout in a mental perspective? So the example here would be...
I think I get it.
And so for those at home, I'd be like, what's the difference mentally of going to do a workout, whatever your workout is, where you've pre-planned it, as in what you're going to do at one extreme 100%, like exactly sets, reps, movements per minute that you're doing it, rest breaks, that sort of stuff, all the way to you'll just go and do it and you'll just figure it out as you go on the way.
Yeah. So I fall strongly on one camp with this, which is pre-plan your workout. What doesn't get measured doesn't get managed, and so I suppose you can measure your random things of I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do this now. I'm feeling like this. I feel 100% on the certainty, the kind of release of mental pressure from knowing exactly what you're going to do every single day that you step up to the plate,
to the arena,
to the arena. I find that extremely liberating. Okay. Other people might. I'm
gonna pause. I'm gonna pause right there, folks, because there's a thing that Karen said in the past, which he didn't understand it. He was like, he didn't agree with it. But I think I want to pinpoint, as you just said then, that the fact that you are disciplined makes you feel like you have freedom, and I think that there is the definition of discipline equals freedom.
Sure.
So I was like, that's discipline equals freedom. But I fall in the same.
I just I'm not a fan of the phrase, the connotation behind the phrase, which is it's everywhere.
But I agree.
Yes, in this case, yes, 100%.
Yeah, so I'm in the camp of the discipline equals freedom sort of style of. I do like to pre-plan, whether we look at 4-week blocks, again monthly blocks. I do that. Obviously, we do our yearly planning, daily planning in terms of what I'm training. There is very, very rare instances where I will go work out and just kind of be like, okay, I'll just see how I feel.
I'll skip rope today, or I'll.
Usually, it's because if I'm injured, I'll just kind of play around with what's going on.
Yeah, if you're injured, that's a little bit different.
Bike riding is like sometimes in my workouts, especially with my running, I'm a little bit like that, which is kind of okay. And I'm not planning to do 3Ks. I'm just like, I know I'm going to run. I don't know what that'll look like. Same with bike riding. I'll just go bike ride, and it'll be more about I've got this amount of time to bike ride, or I've got this amount of time to run. I'll just do that. So, but predominantly, I would say mentally, from like how easy it is to work out or do physical things. Yeah, having a pre-plan is just a whole host better because it just frees you up. Like while you're in the moment, you're exerting 100% of your effort into the performance as opposed to what should I do now?
Yeah. So, there's no dilly-dallying. We've got, how's this name? BKFD in the chat. They say pre-plan as a start, then react to what is in front of you during the session. Strategy informs tactics. Man, we've got a...
Strategy informs tactics. Yep. I do like it. That is true. This is very true.
In here.
This is very true because
probably a general in an army commenting here.
It is strategy versus tactical, but
or it's Brody.
I would agree with it because so I'll give you an example. I do at the moment I've done in the past wave load training. So for those who haven't heard of like the wave training, so you pick a weight, you pick a rep scheme, normally like in a scaling of 3. Or like a movement of 3 sets, let's just say. That's just like 1 round. And you'll go heavier. And you'll basically, so to give you a direct example, you'll, today, you do an overhead press, 60 kilos for 5 reps. Then you'll do 65 kilos for 3 reps. Then you'll do 70 kilos for 2 reps. And that might be a light thing for you. It might be a heavy thing for you. But you're trying to do it so you can do 3 rounds of that in ever increasing weight. So then you might go, okay, now I'll take what I did for 3 reps, 65 kilos. And I'll start again and I'll do it for 5 reps. Then you'll do 70 kilos for 3 reps, 75 kilos for 2 reps. Then you'll load back again. You'll do another round. You normally want to do like 3 or 4 rounds, kind of like the nice sort of like target. Usually it should be hard enough that by the 3rd round, you're like, okay, that's like enough. I can't go any heavier than this. But, that allows you to preempt the body from a CNS perspective, get you like into the groove of moving the weight, enough of a recovery time. But again, I set the strategy as I want to start at this percentage and at this rep scheme. Cool, that'll start like that. But you agree, then tactically, on the day you might be like, you know what, there's actually moving a little bit better. I can go heavier in this. Or you might go, actually, I can't do 2 reps. I'll have to drop this to 1 rep today and this will be the better pattern. So, I like that. Yeah, let strategy guide you and let the tactical actions of the day continue on.
Yeah, cool. All right, I've got nothing more.
Good.
To say, man. Nothing more.
We'll leave it at that. So again, we talked about this on the at the mid there in terms of Boostagramming and supporting us. Obviously there are other forms of ways that you can support us. Share the podcast. Obviously tuning in live supports us as well. Telling folks to listen in. It's always a great thing. But the predominant way, and as always, is the Boostagrams or the streams or the Satoshis that come through in that manner is always really heavily encouraged. If you want to so I added this into our website as well, and we'll talk about it at the next monthly goals if you want to see it visually. But if you go to our website and you go to the podcaster support space, I added a little graph to kind of showcase specifically for this podcast, the Mere Mortals podcast, how our Satoshis are coming in a month-to-month basis. So you can actually see directly how that support is coming in. And give you a bit of a guidance on that's our lifeblood in terms of making this podcast work and run, to be able to come together on a Wednesday night 7 p.m. to do a live to actually share some value with you. So if you like that value and you go, you know what, I can see value in that, we kindly ask you support us through Boostagram, through streaming, and that's through sending Satoshis.
Sure. And if you're sharing it with a friend, highlight, if you can, some of the benefits that they get from the other apps. So I was talking to Rodrigo today. It's actually, I know he was watching because he sent me a screenshot of us live.
Good.
And I was telling him, we are on all the audio platforms as well. And he brought up Spotify, and then I kind of just added, by the way, if you use some of these other ones, you can get additional benefits like the chapter images, like the linkages. There's, extra things that you can get from using a different app. So the innovation is certainly not happening in Spotify at the moment or Apple Podcasts.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the conversation today about the mental side of physical prowess and physical performance, at least from our perspective. If any of that touched your soul in a deep way, I hope it was mentally and not physically, because we don't like to do that here at the Mere Models. But for now, we'll leave it at that.
Well, mine takes your souls. He doesn't.
I do it both, figuratively and literally.
He does
by any orifice
with consent.
Yeah, without consent, for sure. All right, folks, that's it. One out.
Going out.
Bye. Good.
I screwed that up, and I even stopped our thing for momentarily. It was a good thing I was watching.
Oh, nice.
Oh, what is this? Bad stuff's happening. There we go. Let's stop it there. Ugh. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this gap here in the
Damn.
Thing. Thankfully, it was only a couple of
microseconds,
so the audio won't sound too bad.
Too ridiculous.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. What's going to happen now? I'm going to be doing some editing, so I'll be on the Discord if you feel like chatting with me. And
if you want to talk about how current net worth decreasing and being in Cardano, thanks to SPF.
Rip my portfolio. Although to be fair, it was down a lot anyway, so
What's another red added to the mix?
Exactly. My Hosky portfolio though.
It's going well.
Yeah, I actually did some calculating today. It's by far the biggest thing I've made any money on.
That's ridiculous. For those still
my life's a joke, people.
On the video, I've hit 130 NFTs as well. 130 NFTs.
Oh man, so. that's not bad. It's not 300 plus like me though. So
that's true. I'll clarify. Karen's talking CNFTs. NFTs.
There's no difference, man.
One's worth money. The other ones are not.
Okay. All right.
That's
good.
The difference.
Good.
All right, folks. Thanks,
everyone. Thanks, BBFK. I lost my soul during a 100 rep squat set. Yeah. Was that with weight? I did 100 rep squats this last year. It wasn't fun.
The what?
100 rep squats. It said, I lost my soul during a 100 rep squat set.
Oh, wow.
I hope that was with 60 kgs. Sure. That would be very impressive.
Yep.
Peace out, everyone. We'll see you later. Boom. You're done.